right here. I bet you didn't know these creepy facts that'll give you nightmares. There's a place in Indonesia where they don't immediately bury their dead. These people think of death as a process, and elaborate funerals can last months to even years after the person's death. During this process, the body of the deceased is wrapped in cloth and is thought to wander around the village until that person is eventually laid to rest. At Harvard University, there is a book that is bound with human skin. Back in the 1960s, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland had real human bones. That's because creators at the time couldn't make a realistic looking skeleton. They thought they all looked very obviously fake. So until art progressed further, they used real human skeletons in the attraction. Joseph Merrick had a disorder that mutated his whole body. He was nicknamed the Elephant Man. He was put in a freak show. He most likely had Proteus syndrome, which causes an overgrowth of skin, bone, muscles, vessels, and or tissues. People are still born with this today. The biggest tsunami ever recorded was 1,720 feet tall. It hit Alaska in 1958. Scientific evidence shows that another tsunami is likely to hit that exact same spot eventually. I bet you didn't know how a mother and her grandfather performed an exorcism on her child, and the exorcism ended up being fatal. This took place at a San Jose Pentecostal church. Her mother, Claudia Hernandez, told her grandfather that her daughter needed an exorcism because she kept crying. Her daughter was only 3 years old. So just last year in September, they performed an exorcism on this little girl. They held her down for hours. No one is exactly sure what happened during the exorcism, but the little girl died of suffocation. Claudia seems totally unashamed at what has happened. She said she had to squeeze the demons out of her daughter's body. They deprived her of food and water, and her uncle and grandfather helped hold her down for this. They said the cause of her crying was from evil spirits, and her body was possessed. And that was the reason for her waking up in the middle of the night crying periodically. They said the reason she died is because it's the way God needed it to be. Claudia said she herself is happy and at peace, and the reason she feels the way that she does is because of God. After her passing, they had a pink Disney-themed funeral for her. Claudia doesn't seem to be too upset or sad. She has been charged with assault causing death. It's still unknown why that the grandfather and the uncle have not been charged. I bet